counting down the hottest hits in the nation on American Top 40. And holding steady at number 38 is rapper, rocker, and father Kid Rock. Kid's real name is Bob Ritchie, which is also the name of his 5-year-old son. So, does he call his son Kid? Kid Rock? No, Kid says he usually calls his son Junior. Now, here's Junior's dad with Cowboy.
Number 34!
Rising a notch to 34 is Kid Rock. When Kid Rock goes on tour, he's not a one-man show. His band, called Twisted Brown Trucker, has 8 people in it. 2 guitar players, a drummer, a keyboard player, 2 female backup singers, a rapper, and a turntablist. Now, here's Kid Rock and his band making some noise on our survey with the hit Cowboy.
For Casey Kasem, I'm Ed McMahon. Now we're up to the latest hit for a raucous rocker who says he's been an entertainer for as long as he can remember. Every time his parents threw a party, the kid took center stage. Kid Rock comes across as a hard-edged rocker who always says and does whatever he wants to. But growing up in the small town of Romeo, Michigan, he was a lot more easygoing, at least early on. Kid Rock was born Robert James Ritchie, and he says he was born on a Super Bowl Sunday, and he believes that sealed his destiny as an entertainer. Even on the first day of his life, he stole the show from football's biggest game. By the time he was big enough to walk, he was ready to be the center of attention at every party. Kid Rock says he'd put on his little cowboy hat and tiny cowboy boots, climb up on the table, and start singing whatever the hottest songs were at the moment. Kid Rock says he remembers being just 6 or 7 and bringing down the house with his version of Bad Bad Leroy Brown. And these days, he's moving up the charts with a song of his own, climbing 2 notches to number 19 on our survey. Here's Kid Rock with Only God Knows Why.
The hits from coast to coast.
Well, now we're up to the latest hit for a Detroit rocker and rapper who says he made a good living in his teens spinning on his head. He was born Robert James Ritchie, though we know him better as Kid Rock. He grew up in Romeo, Michigan, a rural area north of Detroit. Kid Rock was raised on a farm, but his heart wasn't in agriculture. It was in rock and rap. By the time he was in his mid-teens, he was traveling down to Detroit, not to spin bolts on an assembly line, but to spin himself on the street. You see, the teenager who turned into Kid Rock was a breakdancer, and a good one. He says all he needed to attract a crowd was to lay down a sheet of cardboard on a busy corner, and within minutes, as he did spins on his head, along with fancy moves like the windmill and the electric robot, he'd have the crowd cheering him on and filling his hat with spare change. Kid Rock says it was a beginning, one that inspired him to start recording music that fit his routines. Homemade tapes that led to his first record deal in 1990 with Jive Records. And 10 years later, Kid Rock is moving up the charts with his second top 40 hit.
Number 13.
Moving up 3 notches this week, Kid Rock, who recently signed on to host the 2000 Detroit Music Awards show to be held on April 17th in the Motor City.
American Top 40.
We're counting down the biggest hits by the hottest stars. Holding steady at number 10 is Kid Rock with a song from his CD titled Devil Without a Cause, a CD that has now sold over 7 million copies. And Kid Rock knows why. Quote, good songs, that's all it is at the end of the day. If you have good songs and you're talented, people will eventually buy your music, unquote. Helping prove his theory, here's Kid Rock with Only God Knows Why.
American Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. Together, we're counting down America's biggest hits.
Number 24.
Rolling up 6 notches is Uncle Kracker with the first hit from Double Wide, an album that took a year to finish. Not because it was so difficult, but because Kid Rock produced it. Uncle Kracker says, quote, Kid Rock's got so much other stuff happening. He's doing remixes and movie soundtracks in between photo shoots and gigs and rehearsals. It probably really took only 3 months to make my record, only it was over the course of a whole year, unquote. Finally finished, here's Uncle Kracker with Follow Me.
Counting down the hits with Casey Kasem.
I'm Pat O'Brien for Casey Kasem. Media Base 24/7 ranks them, and we count them down on American Top 40. Now we're up to the song Picture by a rapper who tried to launch his career back in 1990, but it was derailed by Vanilla Ice. It was back in 1990 that Kid Rock landed a deal with Jive Records, one of the most powerful rap labels in the business. He put out an album titled Grits Sandwiches for Breakfast, and then he put himself out there hoping to get some attention. Kid Rock might have gotten a lot of attention, except at the time, the white rapper named Vanilla Ice was riding high with his song Ice Ice Baby, and he stole all of Kid Rock's thunder. Kid says he remembers sitting at Thanksgiving dinner with his grandmother. She asked him what he did these days. He told her he was a rapper, to which she replied, quote, "Oh, like Vanilla Ice?" When the publicist for Jive Records tried to get articles written on Kid Rock, the reaction was always, "Thanks but no thanks, we already wrote about Vanilla Ice." Evidently, at the time, America was only big enough for one white rapper. In fact, it took most of the 90s for Kid Rock to get out from under the Vanilla Ice shadow and get people to recognize that he had an approach all his own. And now, 13 years later, Kid's a star, and Vanilla Ice's career has melted away. This week, the performer who started slowly scores his second top 10 on American Top 40. Here's Kid Rock featuring Sheryl Crow, up 3 notches to number 9 with Picture.
Living my life in a slow hell.
Number 19.
Dropping 5 notches is Kid Rock, a performer who was just 18 years old when he scored his first concert gigs. Kid opened up for rap pioneers Ice Cube and Too Short on a 20-city tour. 14 years later, he has a big hit about being out on the road. Here's Kid Rock featuring Sheryl Crow on Picture.
American Top 20.
Well, now we're up to an American Top 20 Extra. The song Picture by Kid Rock, a musician who thought his career was over before it began, when he was promoted as the next Vanilla Ice. It was back in the late 90s. After years of working clubs throughout the Midwest, Kid Rock landed a deal with a major label. He thought it was a good thing, and then he went to a marketing meeting. Quote, "They told me I was going to be the next Vanilla Ice. I just stared at them for a while, and then I got up and walked out of the room." When Kid Rock calmed down, he had his management explain that he had no intention of being the next Vanilla Ice. What he was going to be was the first and only Kid Rock. And that's exactly what he became. Now, with an extra on American Top 20, here's Kid Rock along with Sheryl Crow with a smash from 2002.
The hits from coast to coast.